Another day, another flagship. This time it's JBL's new 1300X Mark II 11.1.4 Dolby Atmos soundbar, and with its current $1,699 retail price, it aims to go head-to-head with Sony's Theater Bar 9 and Samsung's Q990F. But after some time with it, would it be my pick among those three? Let's talk about the areas this soundbar destroys the competition and what could be its one fatal flaw to keep me from recommending it.
After years of doing product reviews, a new trend emerged where brands are now requiring reviewers to submit their videos for final approval before it ever goes online. Now, this often means the brand can ask to remove anything deemed negative, which means product reviews are more influenced by the brand than ever. Now, because of this, I vow that anything I review on this channel will not only cover the good and the bad, but because I don't produce ads, cover the ugly as well. It's time to get brutally honest about reviews. This is full transparency.
Brutally honest review.
Full transparency, I did pay for this soundbar with my own money for the purpose of reviewing it, and because most of my videos are not sponsored, that means I have to pay out of pocket to keep this channel going. So if you find this video helpful, consider using my links. I also have an ultimate goal of 100,000 subscribers. Help me reach 100K and I'll start giving away what I review to you. Once delivered, the first thing you'll notice is the massive size of the box it's packaged in, and that's because it comes with what I'm pretty sure is the biggest subwoofer included with any current flagship model soundbar, standing at 19 inches tall with a hefty 15-inch by 15-inch 20+ pound body. It's a beefy 12-inch sub. It looks impressive, but will it bite as loud as it barks? Combined with the bar, which features 7 1-inch tweeters and 4 3-inch up-firing full-range drivers, and surround speakers, which have one 2-inch full-range driver and one 3-inch up-firing driver, it delivers up to 1,570 watts of max output power. The surrounds are detachable, and while it sits at about 55 inches wide with the surrounds attached, it's only about 40 inches wide by itself. Taking a look at the connections from left to right, we have your AC power connection, a USB port, an Ethernet port, a total of 4 HDMI connections, with one being your eARC port, and an optical port. Now, please note that optical ports cannot transmit Dolby Atmos signals. Speaking of Dolby, the bar supports Dolby Vision and delivers 3D spatial sound with Atmos and DTS:X. With JBL's Pure Voice 2.0, which automatically optimizes dialogue, you'll never struggle to hear what someone said, and with Multi-Beam 3.0, which delivers a wide cinematic soundstage, every seat will get the best experience. With its easy 2-step calibration, you won't need an audio background to dial in the best settings. It's pretty much set it and forget it, which is important to have, as I've reviewed soundbars without calibration, and the endless tinkering is not something I'd recommend. I mentioned the surround speakers are detachable. If we take a look at the back, you'll see a USB-C port, so you can charge it that way, but if you prefer a more seamless experience, the bar charges them up whenever you dock them back to the main unit for an up to 10-hour charge. A unique feature I really like is you can use the surrounds as independent Bluetooth speakers and pair either one or both to a compatible Bluetooth device like your phone to stream music when you're not watching TV. Now, when it comes down to flat-out audio quality, where crisp details, clarity of dialogue, and spatial sound effects moving around the room matter, I can without a doubt state that the 1300X Mark II provides one of the top-tier experiences among flagship soundbars, and from a pure movie or streaming standpoint, it's probably top 3. I always test Avengers Infinity War because I know the whole intro sequence and how it should sound, and when Thanos puts the Space Stone in the gauntlet, you hear the power surge go from front to back and all around you the same way it does on my SVS speakers. When it comes to Atmos, I like to test 2 scenes. The first one is in Oblivion near the beginning of the movie, where Tom Cruise lands his ship in the remains of an old football stadium and you hear the ship's engine all around you. And the second is the Washington DC scene at the end of Civil War, when they're raiding the White House, you hear jets fly overhead. While an up-firing speaker will never match a downward-firing ceiling-mounted speaker, it could be recency bias, but I feel like this is one of the better Atmos experiences I've heard in a soundbar. Don't even get me started on the subwoofer performance. I've tested the Sony Theater Bar 9, Samsung Q990F, the LG S95TR, even the Nakamichi Dragon, and even with the Dragon's dual subwoofers with dual 8-inch subs, the 12-inch downfiring sub packed with the 1300X Mark II is the hardest hitting sub with a soundbar I've tried to date. Which brings us to another area where this unit shines: music. music. I listened to Webby 612s at every bass level, and having downstairs neighbors I couldn't even raise the volume as loud as I'd like, as even having the bass set to the lowest level still produced more than what I felt comfortable with. Well, if you're not worried about neighbors, you're going to love listening to music through this, especially if it has heavy bass. I have a peaceful coexistence with my neighbors and prefer to keep it that way. While the bass performance is spectacular, I would have liked more in-depth control so I could EQ some of that hard-hitting bass, and thanks to the JBL One app, I can do just that. With a 7-band EQ, you can customize different frequencies to find your sweet spot, and while I think calibration got it right, you have a dedicated rear channel control so you can increase or decrease surround output. When it comes to watching movies and streaming music, JBL knocks it out the park, but what about gaming? After all, it does have 3 HDMI inputs outside of the eARC port, which means I can connect both my Series X and PS5 Pro, but there's no mention anywhere about what type of HDMI ports are used. No info on the product page, no info on the spec sheet, no mention of 4K 120Hz variable refresh rate or auto low latency mode anywhere. Well, I went straight to the source and asked JBL directly under Q&A, where JBL responded, "At this moment, our JBL Bar 1300X Mark II with the 2.1 HDMI ports is not yet supported for 120Hz and auto low latency mode. However, it is supported with 4K and variable refresh rate." So are you saying it is an HDMI 2.1 port and 4K 120Hz is coming in an update? Because Crutchfield seems to think it's 2.0, so I chatted with a JBL rep directly who confirmed the newer JBL Bar series, including this model, is on HDMI version 2.0B. Now, to confirm, I connected my Series X directly to my Bravia 8 II, where I did get 4K 120Hz, but sadly when connecting to the soundbar, I could not get 4K 120Hz, only 1080p, which means that if you're a gamer out there with multiple consoles and need 4K 120Hz on all of them, I cannot recommend the Bar 1300X Mark II. Now sure, you can always connect your consoles to your TV and then eARC the audio to the soundbar, but not every TV, even in the latest models, have multiple HDMI 2.1 ports outside of the eARC port to allow you to connect multiple consoles and run 4K 120Hz. Had JBL put all HDMI 2.1 ports in this soundbar, that would have solved that issue and I'd have no material for this what could be improved section. This is especially important because there are competitors out there who, at least in my opinion, can measure up in terms of sound quality and do come equipped with 3 HDMI 2.1 ports so you can connect your TV via eARC and still connect your Series X and PS5 Pro. I think we're at a point now where any new TV or soundbar should automatically come equipped with HDMI 2.1 as a standard with variable refresh rate and auto low latency mode. Come on, big brands, unless you're being run by a Cowboys fan, it's time to stop living in the past. Who would I recommend the JBL 1300X Mark II for? Those who mostly watch movies and stream, who also spend a good amount of time listening to music. The bass performance excels among soundbars and will make explosions and action scenes rattle your walls, while bass-heavy music will have your neighbors calling the police. If you want the absolute hardest-hitting bass in a soundbar, this is the ticket. If you're a gamer, however, I would only recommend this soundbar if your TV has all the HDMI 2.1 ports you need and you plan to eARC your audio to the soundbar. If it meets your needs and you're dead set on the 1300X Mark II, you'll be more than thrilled by the performance you get, but if it were me and I were to drop $1,500 to $2,000 on a soundbar today, I would most likely go in another direction. Now be sure to drop my soundbar of choice in the description and top comment. If you made it this far into the video, comment friends till the end, and remember, using my links costs you nothing and earns me a small commission so I can afford to fund more reviews like this. Now that's going to wrap things up for today. I'll see you next time.